say, I don't have a savings account or anything extra funds. I maybe have a retirement account or anything like that, that they could, any extra, I guess, dollars or funds or money that they want to put towards something other than what they are doing, daily to get by, to live. Now, I'm not saying all, but I'm saying most. Most do. What you hear all the time is, I don't have money. All this talk about gold, silver, land, all these assets, preparing for, who knows what's going to happen if it does or it doesn't. It's out of my spectrum, since I can't do anything about it. I don't have a job like you, or I don't have a job like her or him. I don't have this or that. I don't have the degree. I don't have, my master's. I don't have my XYZ. And that's a falsehood. That's a falsehood. I'm saying not all. I'm saying most. That's a falsehood. People have the ability and the whereabouts to do this. You see it all the time. Family members, friends, associates, that kind of stuff. They are spending so much money on the things they don't really need, and it doesn't really matter. Whether you're talking multiple cars, the latest and greatest, upgrading cars maybe for looks of it, whatever, the latest and greatest, to additions to anything, electronics, additions to homes, additions to whatever that's not needed, but they want to keep up with the Joneses or whatever it is. If stuff's needed, that's not what I'm talking about. Stuff that's absolutely essential, that's not what I'm talking about. Going to the bar, going to casino, getting a $5 to $9 daily coffee, or even a weekly coffee, it's $5 to $9. How about going out to eat most of the time, going out for dinner, or your lunch. When you're at work, you take off for lunch, you didn't pack a lunch, you didn't bring a lunch, you didn't bring a lunch from home, you're going out all the time. Yeah, it's only $5 here, or maybe it's only $12 here or there. That adds up, and it adds up fast. 5 days at $12 a day is $60 right there. And even events, sports ball events, other events like that, concerts, play, cable, satellite, that kind of stuff. All this stuff adds up, and people just don't see it, or they don't want to realize it, and they don't want to, I guess, cut themselves from it, or suffer, or go without. But that's the reality of the situation. You do, and these people do have the money, they do have the means, and they do have the finances to do something, to do some, not nothing like they're claiming, because it's out of their spectrum. They have the ability to do something. All they have to do is change something that's going on, change a habit here or there. When this whole thing fully comes, and we're in CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, and this is going on, I hope it doesn't, I pray that it doesn't, but it's happening. And if you read all about it, and you listen to the people at the IMF, International Monetary Fund, the WEF, World Economic Forum, or the BIS, Bank of International Settlements, this is what they're talking, this is what they're striving for. These are the steps they're putting in place to make this agenda a reality. And it's going to be faster than later. It's going to be sooner than later. It's going to be like, before you know it, it's going to be here. It already is at parts, and you're just not feeling it because it's a slow burn. So when it comes, and it's going to feel bad. It's not going to be like overnight. It's not going to be like, it wasn't here today, it's here tomorrow. It's going to be a slow burn, like I said. But the price of essentials, the price of things you need, food, medicine, the price of energy, pay to heat your home, anything like that is going to be outrageous. It's going to be so much harder to get, and take so much more currency or money, and take so much more of your labor to afford the same things you can now, you could 20 years. We're talking maybe by the end of this year, maybe we're talking a few months from now. This is the end of April, early May of 2023. And once it's here, and you're feeling it. You won't notice, but sooner than later, your money's going to dwindle faster and faster and faster. Eventually, you'll be in it so deep you can't get out. Let's see if I can put an analogy on this. It's sort of like people that are involved in this and staying in their 401ks or IRAs, relying on their pension, which it's going to be another horrendous thing. It crashes. Or just going on through life and saying, well, I have this much in the bank, or I don't, or I get this much weekly for my pay check from my employer, or I get this much bi-weekly, whatever the circumstance is. Sometime that's going to change. Whether it ends or completely, or it just sort of really adjusts, not to your benefit. It's going to happen one way or the other, along with everything costing more, taking more currency, so more of your labor to buy the same things that it takes little labor to now, if you want to compare them. So why am I saying this? It's like if you're going and you keep going to the same, I guess, pool. We'll say a pool. It could be a swimming pool. It could be a pool that you raise fish or whatever. You're going to the same place, and the reason you're dumping it there, it's on somebody else's property or shared property. You're dumping it there, and you're able to get 200 gallons to dump because of the access of it, and they allow you to. We'll come here, you dump 200 gallons, you spend the time and labor, figure out how to transfer 200 gallons from whatever it is that's close to this property, and you can take it and dump it into here. So over time, it will become full or prosperous, and you can add more fish, let's say, to it for your fish farm or whatever it is. This might be a bad analogy, but on that same sense, the people that operate the land or maybe own the land or own most of the rights to the land, they said, yes, you can do that. You can use our tools, you can use our equipment, and you can use this, take this to transfer 200 gallons of water weekly and dump it in this area. But as a charge, or just so you know, what will happen is I have another gentleman or a family member or whatever that I'm allowing to, for free, to go in there and take out 50 gallons. They take out 50 gallons every 2 weeks. You're like, okay, well, if I do 200 gallons a week, and then after 2 weeks I have 400 gallons, so they take out 50 gallons every 2 weeks. So after 2 weeks, there's 350 gallons that I've done. So if I just keep this up, eventually over time, it will grow. Versus you're not being able to do that. You have another area, but you don't have these tools at your disbursement, at your disposal. So now you can only bring, maybe you can only bring 20 gallons a day, transfer 20 gallons a day from the same source into this other area, but it's not touched. That's yours. It all stays there. Yes, it's going to take you a lot longer to get up to the area, get up to the frame, get up to the amount that you are at the other place, but that stuff's not being siphoned off, not being stolen. 50 gallons aren't getting taken every 2 weeks. So eventually, over time, it will be a better situation for you and yourself or your family. There might be a bad analogy, but I just can't think of how to get people to relate to this, because this is what's happening. People keep using this currency, the dollar, or whatever you want to call it, the renminbi, all over the world. There are different paper currencies, and this inflation, 2% inflation is normal, or maybe it's 9% inflation is normal, or 12% inflation is normal, and that's what's needed, is what they say. But that's just someone stealing that much purchasing power off the top all the time. Is it every hour, every second, every minute, every week? Whatever. It's all relative. So can we get away from that? Can we get into something else? What can we do to hold our wealth, to hold our purchasing power? Well, you know what happened when you had a president, and I don't really support presidents, but you had a president named Abe Lincoln. He went to the greenbacks. He tried to, and you know what happened to Abe Lincoln? JFK, John F. Kennedy, he was going to get say the country, the United States of America, is going to print their own currency. It's going to print their own money and not be part of this Federal Reserve system. We're going to start this here now, and soon after, it'll happen there too. He's no longer with us. He got taken out. I'm just saying these are the two presidents that did this, and then you go across the gamut. Look what happened to Hussein. Look what happened to Maduro. Look what happened to all these other, I guess, dictators or presidents or, leaders of countries. Once they try to get away from this, soon after they're gone. They're a problem that existed for a second and then they get taken out. That's just what happens. I'm not pointing fingers, but I'm pointing that something's not right here. And now there's a reason for that. So what can you do? Well, if instead of you going out and buying these $5 to $9 daily coffees or weekly coffees, or going to the casino, or going to your sports ball games, or maybe even going to the bar all the time, watch your sports ball games, or get your drinks or whatever you're doing, instead of all this stuff, you don't have to stop at all. But why not just, cut down on it a little bit? Stop so much and start investing in something that's going to hold your value for yourself, your family, future generations that may need it, that you maybe belong to, maybe belong to you, or just those in need. Then you have the ability to help out. I'm not saying you have to, I'm just saying this opens so much more doors. So I just want to say, for $30, $30 now, it's probably $32 after everything, over spot price for the when they raised up the over spot. This is buffalo. It's a 1 ounce buffalo. It's a generic round. 1 ounce of silver. That's it. This you can get for $30, $32, something like that. You can get these, and you don't have to buy a ton. Just buying, maybe you can do twice a month. Maybe you can do twice a week. Maybe you can buy 5 a week. Whatever your ability is to do, I would say just start doing it. Yeah, it's going to be like, well, maybe a few weeks down the road, or maybe a few months down the road, you're like, well, I did this. I'm sitting here with 2 of these. They don't do me any good. They just sit here. Yeah, they look shiny and pretty, but that's it. This doesn't do any good for me. It's not as fun as going to the bar. It's not as fun as going to the casino. It's not as fun as going to the sports ball games. It's not as fun as this, that, or the other thing. But in the end, not even in the end, when it gets closer, when things get a little hairy, things get a little more difficult, things get a little tighter, it's going to be, well, I'm so happy I did this. And this is an easy way. I always have preached the land, the food. Learn how to garden. Start doing your gardening. If you live in an apartment, I've went over that before. Just do potted plants. And don't do stuff that's just for looks or smell. Do stuff that's real stuff, whether it's medicinal or food, plants, that kind of stuff. Just learn about this stuff. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Why would you not do this? This here won't lose money, and if you're holding on to it, no one's stealing it from you. No one's siphoning off like they do to those dollar bills and those digits that are in your accounts. People siphon that off. They steal from you all the time. That's called inflation. With this, don't worry about it. You're out of inflation. It doesn't affect you. You're above and beyond inflation. It does not affect you. So, the silver and gold, that's what I'm saying here. And this is the easiest store to get in there. This was silver, because it's, like I said, it's just over $30 an ounce. That's it. And I know they're talking to steal private property. They're talking about getting that away and seizing private property because they need control and they need people to follow the ESGs, that kind of stuff. So it's just, it's if you're holding it and you have it, you have access to it, they can't do anything about it. Yes, there was FDR. He did go through and take the gold from people, but not everyone. More people are smart than that. And they didn't let them. They didn't allow them to. They hid it. They lost it. Whatever it was, their excuse was, couldn't find it. And then after the whole fact, whether it was years or months or maybe a decade, they came out on the very top. So happy that this is what they did, because they knew it was tyranny and they couldn't take it without force of a gun or being threatened, put in a cage. Well, I'm just saying it's getting so bad out there as far as finances go, and I don't think we're anything near where we're gonna be, and I don't feel people really realize it yet. But now's still an open window to start doing stuff now. Anyways, I want to thank you for watching this. If you like this, like, share, subscribe. As always, stay vigilant yourself.